So, what is van life all about for me? I come across van life originally when I was out and about doing cycling. I used to like going for bike rides and whatnot, and then I was considering doing some bike packing. So I was watching loads of YouTube videos about that, and then I just stumbled across people that were living in vans, taking their bikes in their vans and going cycling and whatnot. And I thought, yeah, that'd be cool. That would getting a van, doing a bit of travelling about, going cycling, and then having a base to go to in the evening. I thought, yeah, that would be really good. Nothing ever come of it. I didn't do it. I just watched the videos and thought it was a good idea. But about 4 years ago, my wife decided she wanted to move away from where we are and move to Wales. So she sold her flat and moved to Wales. The idea was I was going to stay where I am for a little while in a little van that I had then, and then move down there. Unfortunately, 4 years later, it still hasn't happened due to various financial reasons. It's not going to be as easy as first thought, so I'm pretty much stuck where I am at the minute. But don't get me wrong, I'm still married, still very much happy. You know, we're not having any issues. It's just living apart, but sometimes it can be a little bit beneficial, because when we see each other, it's even better, you know what I mean? Not under each other's feet all the time. I mean, some people can live like that, some people can't. You know, I guess there are days that go by where I struggle being in this van by myself on my own. When I'm at work, I'm all right, but when the evening comes, when you're on your own, you're locked away in here, it's yeah, it plays a bit of havoc on your mental health. Anyway, so van life for me, I do it because it's a means to an end. Some people say to me, well, why don't you go and rent a room in a house? But the money that I'd waste doing that would be astronomical. You know, you're talking where I am in Hertfordshire, to get a room per month, probably over £500 a month. I ain't gonna pay that. Well, I can have this van and live in it pretty cheaply. I've got access to showers at work. I can use a laundrette. My boy lives down the road. If I need anything, I can go see him as well. So I have pretty much got things covered when it comes to practical things. So no, I'm not going to rent anywhere. I'm just going to stay as it is for now. My first van, by the way, was a Peugeot Bipper micro camper. Tiny little fucking thing it was. Right then, where was I? I got cut off earlier. I was talking about my first van. First van was a Peugeot Bipper, tiny little thing. Was kitted out with a sink and cupboards and an electric hookup and running water, gas cooker, all that sort of stuff. Had some like foam mattresses that you laid on the floor. Yeah, that was your bed, and then you could assemble them at the back of the van for a little bench seat. But I was too tall, I couldn't sit on that. My head was like crossed over to the side. But anyway, I lived in that for, I don't know, probably the first year. Yeah, probably for the first year. And the good thing about it was, because it was so small, I could park it in a garage. So through the winter months, I rented a garage and parked it in there to sleep in, just for that extra layer of comfort night. You know, it was pretty good. Until one night where I was asleep in the back of the van. Someone broke into the garage. And by the time I'd woke up, I sort of flew out the side door to be greeted by a guy with a torch, and it was shining in my face, it was. And he pushed me so hard, I stumbled and cracked my head on the garage wall and knocked myself out. When I come round, there was some people there. You know, some of the neighbours had helped me out, and called an ambulance because I'm epileptic as well, and that sort of set me off a bit, but I'm not going to go too much into that. Anyway, that was what it was. After that incident, I didn't sleep in there anymore. I give that up. I just slept out on the road. But when you go through something bad like that, sleeping in a vehicle makes you obscenely paranoid. The slightest noise, the wind blowing, whatever it may be, it will set you off, and you think of the worst all the time. In the beginning, it didn't matter. I was relatively relaxed, you know. I slept like a baby most of the time, but after that experience, no, it just knackers you. You think the worst, and your mind plays tricks on you, even if it's something stupid. But anyway, a little while later, I bought another van off a mate of mine. That was a Mercedes Veto, Mark 1 Veto that was. That was a self-build that he had done himself. It was all kitted out with a cooker and double hob and a rock and roll bed. It was really nice, actually. Apart from the heater was knackered. Night heater didn't work. That was bollocks for some reason. Yeah, I had that for, I don't know, probably another year, just over a year. But I decided to sell it because I needed something bigger. Because I mean, the Mercedes Veto is a nice size van, but you can't stand up in it. And I think it's slightly narrower than this one, than the Transit. So anyway, yeah, there weren't enough room. The rock and roll bed was doing my head in. I couldn't be doing with it. You know, setting a bed up every night, that was just taking its toll on me. And half the time, I ended up leaving it in bed mode. You know, I just left it as it was. Didn't even use the cooker or the cupboards. Just, I wanted to get into bed and get my head down. That was it. That was all I did. Anyway, what happened then? I went and bought a Transit van, this one, and it was just a panel van. Had nothing done to it whatsoever. It was just a normal basic run-of-the-mill van. The guy that owned it used to use it for work and moving his motorbike around, if I remember rightly. I started to do a bit of my own renovations on it, you know, my own build, but I gave up in the end, and I sold it to my mate, I think. Yeah, I did. I sold it to him, and I carried on living in the Veto. So he done the build, most of the build that we're in now, and then he had it for a while. We took it abroad, but then he decided to sell it. So I jumped up the chance because he'd put the windows in and the curtains, and built the bed. You know, it was well underway of being completed. I mean, it had no kitchen units or anything put in, but that didn't matter. It didn't matter to me at the time. So anyway, yeah, I bought that and sold the Veto on Facebook Marketplace, and it went within 24 hours of it going up. You know, so it must have been a sought after vehicle. It's quite nice, to be fair. It's quite a vehicle that stood out. You know, it's quite, you know, I've got fond memories of it. Anyway, so here we are today, and I'm in this. This is my second year in this now, I think, and I've got everything I need. This ain't got a rock and roll bed, thank God. This has got a fixed bed. All right, it takes up quite a bit of room, but there's still enough room. I've still got a square here that I can, you know, floor space, and I've got a little kitchen unit that the tripod is sat on at the minute. The chair that I'm sitting in is just a camping chair. I have got a captain's chair at the front, but because I'm out on the road, I'm not using that at the minute. I've got some curtains that are shut just to keep me a little bit stealthy. But when I'm at a campsite, I put the blinds across the window screen, spin the chair around, set the table up, because I've got one of them table things. Yeah, and it does what I need it to do. Again, it's small, I can't stand up, but it serves its purpose, you know. I can't fault it. When I first got it off my mate, it was a bright white van, and he had put like these tiger stripe things down the side and looked a bit like a boy racer van, and everyone was looking at it, and I didn't want that, so we turned it stealthy. I painted it NATO green with you know, the rollers. Instead of spraying it on, we just used rollers, and it worked pretty well, to be fair. And I put a few stickers over it just to give it a bit of character, and it's a bit more discreet now. But it is a lowered van. It's got some big ass alloys on it, which I'm hoping to get sprayed black, powder coated black at some point, because they stand out at the minute a bit too much. White with green just not working. What else has it had done to it? It's got the EGR deleted. It's been remapped as well, so it goes pretty well, to be fair. But I don't drive it hard, so I want to try and make it last as long as possible, you know. I have had it at work. One of my work colleagues, he put some new brakes and hubs and bits and pieces on the back for me. I got underneath in one of the pits that we got, and I sanded all the underneath down, got rid of all the rust, and got an airline with the underseal and give it a good spray up and sealed it up, ready for the winter. Did have a bit of welding that needed to be done. Of course we did. It's a fucking Transit. That got sorted, and then it went for its MOT in September and went straight through. But I was underneath it the other day, and we did miss a hole, and I'm lucky that the MOT bay didn't see it. It's only a hole on the outer sill, so we're going to get that sorted at some point. I shall probably do a better tour at some point, because, you know, I'm not showing you around at the minute. It's a mess. I just wanted to give you an update of where we were, how it all began for me. You know, Peugeot Bipper, then the Veto, then this. I do want a bigger van, but I can't afford one. I don't know if I've got the patience to sit and wait for a full conversion to be done again, because it's a long old process, you know. It really is, especially when you've got a full-time job and you're relying on friends to help you out. I mean, if it weren't for my mate that I bought this off, I would have been stuffed, because I'm no good at DIY. I can do basic bits, but my mate, he built my kitchen units and sorted out all my electrics, and, you know, he done pretty much everything, and put the carpeted the inside, and, you know, he's pretty good with his hands with all that, you know, camper building stuff. But yeah, I would like a bigger van, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I mean, if I get my way, I'd like to quit the job that I do here and go to Wales full time and live with my wife again. I think time will tell on that one, where we're going to go. I mean, obviously it's what I want, but finding a job in Wales that pays the same sort of money what I get here, the jobs are few and far between. The wages seem to be a lot less in Wales than what they are in Hertfordshire. Although it's a cheaper way of life down there. Houses are cheaper, fuel's cheaper, people are nicer. Actually, the Welsh are good people. I can't fault them at all. But the wage difference is quite vast. So anyway, I'm rabbiting on now. I think I'll end it there, actually, because I'm boring myself. The next video I will do some form of tour video. I've just got to figure out how to do it correctly. Like I say, I'm filming all this on a phone. You know, I ain't got that talent like some of these YouTubers that edit everything perfectly and spin around with cameras and transitions, and they make it look fucking brilliant. They do. I have not got a clue how to do all that jazz. So anyway, I shall be in touch. Look after yourselves, everybody, and I'll be back soon.